Okay, so this story is wild. It's about a father's final wish, a wish that turned brother against brother and uncovered a secret that was so perfectly planned, you're just not gonna believe it. Let's get right into it.
So it all kicks off with this simple, locked briefcase and a really cryptic note from his father. It just said, "Use this only when you have nothing left." I mean, what does that even mean? What could possibly be inside, and why would a father leave his son a puzzle right when he needs a safety net? This is where it all begins.
All right, so the story really gets going at the reading of the will. This is that huge moment where a family's entire future gets decided. And for one of the brothers, well, it was the start of an absolute nightmare.
I mean, can you just imagine the tension in that lawyer's office? You've got two brothers, Leo and our storyteller, waiting to hear the final wishes of their dad. And this was a guy who always preached about the value of hard work, so they're probably expecting things to be split down the middle. What they got instead was a total bombshell.
Look at this. It's just staggering. On one side, the older brother, Leo, gets the $2 million family estate, the whole thing. And for our narrator, a dusty, locked briefcase. That's it. No explanation, no money, nothing but a box and that weird note. The sense of betrayal, you can just feel it coming off the page.
And the shock of that, well, that was just the opening act. The cruelty that came next was fast, it was personal, and it turned what was a family disagreement into an act of, total banishment.
To make it so much worse, his own brother is the one to twist the knife. Leo doesn't just take the house. He looks him in the eye, calls him a failure, and tells him to go get a real job. This isn't just about inheritance anymore. This is pure, brutal humiliation.
The fallout is just immediate. He's kicked out of the house he grew up in. The locks are changed that same day. And then he finds out his brother's grand plan is to sell the whole property to a developer to build a resort. So he's forced into this tiny little studio apartment. He has officially hit rock bottom.
And right there, with absolutely nowhere else to go, his father's words start echoing in his head. Use this only when you have nothing left. Well, this is it. This is that moment. He has nothing to lose. It's time to open the briefcase.
This right here, this is the turning point. What seems like a desperate last-ditch move is about to become the first play in a brilliant game of chess.
So, what do you think was in there? Cash? Gold bars? Some kind of blackmail material on his brother? I mean, it could have been anything, right? But what was actually inside was something nobody, especially not Leo, could have ever predicted.
So he pops it open, and inside, no cash. Instead, there's just a stack of old signed deeds, paperwork, for properties his father had secretly bought way back in the 70s. Okay, valuable, sure, but how is that supposed to help him right now? See, the genius wasn't in the deeds themselves. It was in one tiny hidden detail.
Oh man, this is where it gets so good. This is incredible. Buried deep in all that legal paperwork was his father's true masterstroke. He hadn't just given his son a bunch of old deeds. He had made him the landlord of the very land the $2 million family estate was built on. I mean, the foresight is it's mind-blowing.
So here's the brilliant part. Let me break it down. Leo owned the house, the physical building, the bricks and mortar. But the ground it was sitting on, that was held in a completely separate trust. And our narrator was now the one and only owner. Legally, his rich, arrogant brother was just a tenant, and he had absolutely no idea.
And just like that, the whole power dynamic flips on its head. He's not the victim anymore. He's the landowner. And he realizes he has the ultimate weapon on his side. Patience. It's time to set a trap. Now, this wasn't going to be some quick, angry confrontation. No. This was cold, calculated, and just perfectly executed. Step 1, wait. He just let Leo dig his own hole. Let him sign that massive, multi-million-dollar contract with the resort developers. Step 2, watch. Let the heavy machinery actually roll onto the property. And then, only at the very last second, step 3, intervene. Picture it. The morning construction is supposed to begin. The bulldozers are literally firing up their engines, and he arrives with his lawyers. They calmly walk over and inform the developers that the contract they signed with Leo, completely worthless. Why? Because you can't lease property from someone who's just a tenant. Their entire multi-million-dollar deal was with a guy who didn't even own the ground they were standing on. The whole project was frozen, right there on the spot.
And now, the consequences.
This is the karmic conclusion to a story all about arrogance and greed. Leo's plan didn't just fail, it backfired in the most spectacular way possible.
For Leo, the consequences were absolutely catastrophic. The developers, obviously furious, sued him for fraud almost immediately. With the project dead in the water and a massive lawsuit coming his way, he was staring down total bankruptcy. That $2 million estate he so cruelly took from his brother was now completely worthless to him, just tangled up in a legal nightmare he created. He lost everything.
And then, after all the chaos, came this quiet, but maybe the most satisfying moment of all. A single text message from Leo. The guy who called him a failure and threw him out on the street, it was just 3 simple words. I'm sorry.
We're told he still hasn't replied to that text. And that leaves us with this final, lingering question. After all that betrayal, and after pulling off this perfectly executed revenge, what happens next? Is it about justice, or is there any room for forgiveness? So let me ask you, what would you do?